Well, the Pacers were in action today, and Neil and I were earlier trying to figure out what playoff game we were going to try to get tickets for.
Yeah, that will be a challenge, as never before this year, right, Dick?
Yeah, you're going to have to get your name on the list. Lots of people will be standing in line tomorrow to get their shot at those playoff tickets. Lots to talk about tonight, including a big game tonight in the NBA for the final playoff spot out west. We'll have it all for you next on Sports Locker. Tonight on Sports Locker, the Pacers put the finishing touches on a record-setting season, and we'll recap the Colts draft with Vice President and Director of Football Operations Bill Tobin and defensive back Damon Watts.
And I'm Vince Welch. Coming up on Sports Locker, the 5th race of the IndyCar season and 5 different winners. This one at Nazareth in dramatic fashion. Passing on the final lap of the race, Emerson Fittipaldi's victory. Coming up next in sports.
Thanks for watching Sports Locker. We'll talk NFL Draft and the Colts in studio with Vice President and Director of Football Operations Bill Tobin, along with defensive back Damon Watts, and Vince Welch will be reporting via satellite from today's IndyCar race at Nazareth. But up first, the final order of business on this, the final day of the NBA regular season. Sacramento and Denver battling for the last playoff spot available in the West, and the Nuggets were not at full strength, and it was a winner-take-all situation. Rodney Rogers with the dunk. As Denver gets the early edge, the Kings battle back. Walt Williams with the acrobatic shot in the lane. The Kings down by 9 at halftime. Brian Williams sealing the Nuggets win with the reverse jam. It's a 102-89 win, and Nuggets celebrate the playoff berth tonight at McNichols Arena. Well, they began the season with a win over Atlanta. Today, they finished their best regular season ever with a win over Atlanta. Pacers coach Larry Brown had his playoff face on in picking up a T in today's finale at MSA. The faces were solemn as they observed a moment of silence for the Oklahoma City victims. Pacers got off to a great start. Dale Davis delivers the throwdown, 15 points and 10 boards for Double D. Second quarter, Mark Jackson with the no-look to Antonio Davis. The Pacers go up by 8. Reggie had 22 for the Pacers as he hits the three-pointer. There's the no-look pass to Antonio Davis. Atlanta, though, goes on an 18-5 run in the third quarter. A tie ball game when Mookie Blaylock hits the three. He had 19, but the Pacers answer with a 16-5 run. Sam Mitchell on the baseline. The Pacers up by 11, and the blue and gold finish up the season at 52-30, beating Atlanta 103-87.
Our starters are going to do a good job. We know that. And if we can come in and sustain or build on what they've done, then it makes it that much easier for all of us.
Before, I thought that maybe it was me. I wasn't going out giving 100% because maybe I was scared about my back. But now I feel pretty good. Every game I'm able to go out there and push and bang a little bit more. And when I have no effect as far as being hurt, then I'm okay.
You can get a lot of offensive shots off of your defense. So we got to let our defense do our talking first. Your offense will come and go, but if you can play defense night in, night out, especially in the playoffs, you have a shot to win.
Pacers, of course, open up the playoffs Thursday with those same Hawks. Today, New York beat Orlando the Magic 18-23 on the road. Washington winning over Philadelphia by 16. Glenn Robinson went out with a flare. Michael Jordan had 33, but the Bulls lose. Charlotte gets their first ever 50-win season as they down the Cavaliers. Chuck Person had 20 points off the bench in the Spurs win. And Charles Barkley nearly had the triple-double today in the Suns win over the Sonics. The Celtics end the season with a 3-game losing streak. Miami beats Detroit as the Pistons miss the playoff for the 3rd straight year. Mavericks won 24 more games this season than they did the last season. Karl Malone, 23 points, 15 rebounds, and 8 assists in Utah's win. And one game just about to wrap up. Portland will defeat Golden State. The 1995 NFL Draft is complete. Bill Tobin and Damon Watts will join us a little later on to talk in depth about those picks, but here are the ones they selected today in rounds 4 through 7. The Colts getting most of their help from the defensive side of the football. Ray McElroy from Eastern Illinois. They're the lone offensive player coming from Colorado. Brian Gelheiser and Jason Cox, a couple of talented linebackers from the Colts picks today, and you'll hear more about them a little bit later on in the program. Now, with 5 races complete on the IndyCar circuit, you have 5 different winners Next stop, of course, is 16th and Georgetown for the 79th running of the 500. Running out of fuel costs Indy's grand champion a trip to the winner's circle today at Nazareth. It's Robbie Gordon on the pole for today's Bosch Spark Plug Grand Prix. Michael Andretti would take a wild ride out of the pits with a loose front wheel over the grass into the wall. That was it for Michael. No win on the home track. And Gilles de Ferran hip-hops along the fourth turn wall 14 laps from the finish. Eddie Cheever driving for A.J. Foyt tries to go the distance on one fuel stop and runs out of fuel with less than 2 laps to go. And Emerson Fittipaldi picks up his first win of the year, his 22nd overall.
IndyCar never been as competitive as now. It's fantastic. The way that so many drivers, so many good teams in the sport now, I think is just unbelievable. We're going to have a very competitive championship.
I didn't think Cheever would run out of fuel because of those extra yellow laps we had, so it was quite a surprise. I didn't see him slow down on the restart. I thought he had stopped just after the checkered, so I thought I was third and I was fighting for second.
Yeah, I think we're, hopefully the luck has turned a little bit our way now. Hopefully we can run strong now for the rest of the season.
Vince Welch will have more on that race a little bit later on in the show. As for NASCAR, they had a rain delay in Martinsville for the Haynes 500. A rain-shortened race today was won by Rusty Wallace. Let's talk golf now. The Greater Greensboro Open had plenty of drama. Jim Gallagher Jr. of Indiana with a share of the lead with a birdie on hole number 17 at Forest Oaks Country Club. And Jeff Sluman needed a chip for birdie to force sudden death on the final hole. Watch what happens. He comes oh so close, but it's Gallagher coming away with his fourth tour victory and a $270,000 payday. Baseball tonight, the Indians make it 8 out of 9, winning in Buffalo 4-3 in 12 innings. The Tribe returning to Busch Stadium Wednesday with New Orleans. And here is tonight's sports quiz. If you can give me the correct answer to our question tonight at 239-5911, you can win a handsome Sports Locker watch courtesy of Nelson's Jewelers in Brownsburg. The correct answer, the 8th caller. Call us now.
Sports Locker, sponsored by your local Dodge dealers and by Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
And we're back on Sports Locker. The NFL Draft wrapping up today with 4 more rounds of selections for the Indianapolis Colts. It's been a long weekend out on West 56th Street, but Bill Tobin is joining us tonight in studio. He's the Vice President and Director of Football Operations. And Bill, obviously you're happy with the way you were able to help your ball club out this weekend.
I'm very pleased. We're a better football team now than we were 2 days ago.
I know we started off the day yesterday with an exciting announcement, but I know you still have some reservations about getting Craig Erickson signed, sealed, and delivered and having him in here for minicamp.
We made compensation agreements with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Craig Erickson, so that part of it is in place. And now we have to sign him, and we have until Wednesday midnight to get him signed, and it's up between Craig, his agent, and the Colts now to work out a contract and have him in minicamp this weekend.
I know there have been lots of reports about, the compensation. I know you can't get real specific about it, but you do have some flexibility with your draft situation in 1996 that could come into play.
Right. We could have 2 number 1s next year, but we've given up one of the number 1s, our number 1, to Tampa if we sign Craig Erickson. If we don't, we could end up with 2 number 1s. Left over from the Jeff George trade. We currently now have a number 2 from Atlanta, and if he wins 9 games, it'll become a number 1.
Does the salary cap become a problem at all?
It's a real problem, Dick. That's the thing. If Erickson's agent asks us for too much, we cannot pay him out of proportion of what he's worth, and if that happens, we'll have to walk away from the deal and go on about our business, and he'll remain with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Let's talk now about the draft picks. I know you're excited about the guy you picked up yesterday, the number 1 pick, Ellis Johnson, out of Florida.
I've had very good luck with Florida drafts on the first round. Took Wilbur Marshall back in 84. Took Trace Armstrong in about 87. Took Neil Anderson in about 82. Neil Anderson was in 86. But the 3 picks that I've had #1 from Florida, and this is the 4th one, have all been good players, and I think Ellis Johnson will fall along in that mode. We were very fortunate that he fell to 15. He's a relentless player. He's about 6'2". He's a little taller than McCoy, but he plays a lot like our McCoy, and a better player in college than what McCoy was. But with them on the same field, I think we're going to have a lot of pass rush potential there.
I know the one thing you pointed out yesterday is these guys still have to earn themselves a spot on the team.
Absolutely. We're going to start out with Ellis Johnson at the left defensive end, but he's going to be competing against Steve Entman and also Freddie Joe Nunn, and we'll see how it shakes out. But we will have Entman and McCoy, Saragusa, and Bennett lining up first with that group, and then Ellis Johnson has got to some way make his way on the field at some position, and we think his best opportunity might be at left end. If Entman is healthy and can play there, that's where he will play.
And a Hoosier native going in the 2nd round, a nice tight end out of Illinois, Ken Dilger, and here's a guy that you're hoping can provide the blocking you've been looking for at that position.
Well, he gives us 2 things. He gives us great size, he gives us upfield speed, and he's a very, very fine blocker. We think there's a lot of long-range potential in Ken Dilger. He is from southern Indiana. He drove up here this morning and met the press. He's about 2.5 hours away. Both of these first 2 players came from real small towns. Neither town has a stoplight in it, and they're appreciative of where they are. They work hard. They came up with good morals, good work ethic. They've been productive in their college careers, and they're the type of people that we want with the Indianapolis Colts. We don't only draft for talent and ability football-wise, we draft for stability character-wise, and these 2 both really fit that mold.
So we'll go down the rest of the players, maybe a word or 2 on some things that you're impressed about, and we'll begin with Zach Crockett from Florida State, the fullback that I'm sure Ted was looking for.
Right, we were looking for a fullback to help Roosevelt Potts. Zach is a strong blocker, redshirted a year ago because they had William Floyd, who was a #1 pick with San Francisco. But Zach is a big man, 6'2", 244, and had a real fine year, and I think he will make his presence known.
On to today's selections, defensive back from Eastern Illinois, Ray McElroy.
Ray played corner at Eastern Illinois. He's also a kickoff returner. We're going to play him at safety here. He's a Chicago kid, went to Eastern Illinois, started 4 years there, and plays a lot of bump and run. We think he's big enough for safety. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds, runs a 4.6, and is a good hitter.
And you got an offensive tackle, Derek West, out of Colorado.
Derek West is the 2nd tallest guy in the college draft this year. He also is in our IQ test, he's the 2nd smartest guy in the draft this year. He's almost 6'8", got long arms. We think there's a lot of potential here. He's also a long snapper and should make his presence felt early in camp.
And then rounding out the draft, a pair of linebackers, Brian Gilheiser out of Penn State and Jesse Cox, more help for the defense.
That's correct. Gilheiser will line up in the middle, and Cox will line up on the outside. All of these players come from winning programs, good stable programs, good coaching, and we're pleased to have them. I think we're a better football team now than we were 2 days ago.
We all got a kick last year out of your barbs with Mel Kiper, and apparently this year's draft couldn't go without a couple of more.
Well, he took, I think, a couple of shots there, but again, it was misinformation. He indicated that Ellis Johnson didn't work out here. Well, Ellis had a very good reason not to work out because he had a thigh bruise. And the whole NFL brought him back for another physical, and you can't work out if you're injured, and he was injured, and it was indicated on television that he chose not to work out on his own, and that wasn't the case.
And now minicamp coming up this weekend for the Colts, and public can have a chance to see the team in action.
Right, we're going to have our practices open on Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock and also Saturday afternoon out on 56th Street, weather permitting. And then our practice will be open to the public at the RCA Dome on Sunday, and it's a select a seat day, and hopefully people will come down and get excited about us. We had almost 7,000 people there last year, and hopefully it'll be more this year, and have a chance to see what seats are available for season tickets.
Good deal. Bill, thanks for coming in, and congratulations on the draft, and we'll check them out this weekend down at the RCA Dome. Bill Tobin, the Colts Vice President and Director of Football Operations, and we'll be back with more talk about the Colts and the NFL right after these messages. Did you know the answer to our Sports Locker quiz? Shamika Pittman did. And you might be surprised. The Boilermakers lead the list right now of players that the Indianapolis Colts have drafted. And because Shamika knew the answer, she wins this handsome Sports Locker watch courtesy of Nelson's Jewelers in Brownsburg. So congratulations. We have a Colts player from Indiana with us, but a free agent player, Damon Watts. And Damon, thanks for joining us tonight. And as we go over the list of players, you remarked of just how impressive the names and the schools and the coaches that all these players come from.
Definitely. You know, when I looked at the list, and I've watched, you know, several Colts drafts over the years, and I was really impressed with the guys that we got for what the talent that we had and what we needed, the gaps that we had in the offense and the defense, and they seem to fill up real well. You know, I see guys like Ellis Johnson here from Florida, then you had the kid from Florida State, we had a couple kids from Penn State, Illinois. These are all solid schools, big contenders every year, and come from well-coached programs, so I think they'll be ready to go, definitely ready to help us out.
I think one thing you also have to like being a defensive back is that there's only one cornerback on that list, so maybe there won't be as much competition for those jobs.
You know, that always pleases me, trying to get some job security. And I think that the draft pick that we did have was a great draft pick. This guy, from what I know about him, he likes to hit. He's a hitter. He didn't seem to be getting beat at all deep, and those are things we need back there in the secondary. We need guys that like to hit, and we need guys that won't give up the big play. So I think that he might fit in as well in the secondary.
And we see the Colts really emerge as a defensive team, particularly back there where you guys play with Ray Buchanan and David Tate and Jason Belser. And now we add some other guys, some linebackers, a new defensive end. It seems to me like that's really going to stabilize the defensive front.
Yeah, definitely. I've said it over and over again. I think we have a great blend of old and new. With Ray back there making plays, he's inspiring guys in the secondary. The play of McCoy is inspiring the defensive line. Jeff Harrod, the veteran anchor in the linebackers. I think we just have a real solid defense, a real solid core. And in the future, I think it'll be something to be proud of.
Now, you know the feeling of what it takes to be a free agent, to come in and earn a position on the team. And now you got some guys that they're probably out trying to sign now that may be coming in for mini camp, will definitely be here for training camp. And now you're competing against those guys that have the same kind of hunger you had. So this is a whole different experience, isn't it?
Philip E. Nelson Jewelers in Brownsburg and St. Elmo Steakhouse provide gifts to some of our Sports Locker guests.
Don't forget those Pacers playoff tickets go on sale tomorrow at all the usual locations, and the playoffs open up right here at Market Square Arena coming up on Thursday night. Let's take a look at that playoff schedule for the Indiana Pacers. They begin at Market Square Arena 7 o'clock against those Atlanta Hawks, the team that they defeated today 103-87, and the Pacers coming off their best ever regular season with 52 wins and 30 losses. Games 1 and 2 right here in Indianapolis. Then it's on to Atlanta for Game 3. Games 4 and 5, if necessary, will flip-flop between the Omni and Market Square Arena. Also, don't forget our special Reggie Miller's playoff preview Tuesday night at 8 o'clock right here on Wish TV. Thanks for joining us tonight on Sports Locker. I'm Dick Rea. For all of us, have a great night.